Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make earrings using the wooden shapes and some craft paper. It's a really popular craft right now. A lot of people have questions on how to make these, and even though I'm new at this, I'd love to share with you what I have learned and how I go about making these. So you're going to want some wooden shapes, which you can get off of Amazon. I got this small package for $5, and it comes with all these shapes: teardrops, ovals, circles. They do not have pre-drilled holes, but I will show you how to do that using a jewelry punch later on in my video. I'm going to be using Mod Podge. It's a matte finish. You can also use diamond glaze if you'd like your earrings to be very shiny. And I have Crafter's Pick, the ultimate glue to glue my paper on, but you can just use Mod Podge to glue your paper on. You're also going to want to use a nail file. This is a coarse grit I got from Sally Beauty Supply a long time ago, or you can just use some sandpaper. You can get really beautiful paper at your craft store. I got this at Hobby Lobby. You just look up, I think I just looked up cardstock, and then maybe it's scrapbooking paper. I'm not sure what the technical term is, but you can make all kinds of really pretty earrings with this paper. I've heard of people printing off images on their computer and using that. You can use photographs, magazines, maps, whatever you have that you'd like to make your earring. But I'm going to be using this paper. Now you can take your wooden shape and trace it over a piece of Ziploc bag, and then cut that out, and you can get this clear piece right here, and you can use this as a template to place over your image. If, like, let's say for instance, I wanted this bird to be in the center of my earring, so I use this and I put it over that particular image on my paper, and then okay, let's just show you. So here, my plastic piece, and then I just took my earring and laid it on top, moved that plastic all the way, and then traced my shape on the paper. That's just a little tip there. But so the first thing you're going to want to do is take your shape, and you're going to want to sand the rough edges. On the back of this particular wood piece, it's a little rough around the edge. So I just go at a flat angle, nice and flat, and smooth that off. You do not want to sand at your work table, because all the little shavings will get on your workspace, and then you can contaminate the Mod Podge, and then you have little chunks on your earring. So I recommend doing your sanding on the side. Okay, I already did that. And so now I have my wood shape, but now I'm going to place it on my paper, and I use a pencil. All right. And then I'm going to just use scissors. Some people use their Cricut machine. If you know the particular size of your shape, or you're able to do that, that would be great, because then you could cut out a whole bunch of pieces of paper all at once on your Cricut machine. I don't know the size of these shapes, so I didn't bother with my machine. This does not have to be perfect, because we're going to use our sandpaper to remove the extra on the edge of our wooden shape. But before we adhere this paper to our wooden shape, we are going to give this some color. Some people use inks or furniture varnish, different wood stains. You can use a marker. These Sharpie metallic markers work pretty cool. Whatever you use, you're going to want to seal it, okay? And we're going to seal it using the Mod Podge. I'm going to show you how to take just plain old acrylic paint. This is Apple Barrel brand. You can get some really cheap ones at any craft store, Walmart, Amazon, whatever, wherever it has a little craft section. And I'm just taking a little bit, a tiny little bit of paint and place it in here. And then I'm going to add some water. And what that's going to do is really thin it out so that it's mostly water. Do you see that? And then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to paint the back of this. And what that's going to do is make a stain rather than thick paint. So then you can still see the wood grain on the back of your earring. Okay. And the more you thin it, the lighter it'll be. And I lost my paper towel. So you're going to want to, you can also, if it's too dark, you can also just remove it. Can you see that? So it's really light. And you can go back over it if you decide that you want it darker. Okay. Now, if you want, you can paint the sides at this point. I just kind of go like this. But what I like to do is just let it dry. I like to paint the back and let it dry and then do the sides, because right now you can do this, but here, I'm just going to do it. It's nicer to be able, when this dries, to be able to hold it like this and then paint your sides. But you can't do that right now. I mean, you could, but you do risk putting an imprint on your paint right there. So anyways, once you have that back painted, you're going to go ahead and set it aside and let that dry. You can also use a hair dryer to speed up the process. Okay, once that's dry, you're going to want to take your paper and I pour a little bit of the Mod Podge in this orange juice cap. Okay. Here's the back of my paper. I'm going to use my fingernail to hold it steady, and I'm going to paint the paper. I like to paint the paper rather than the wooden shape because I feel like the wood kind of soaks in the glue, and then you're using up more glue. And I like to use a paintbrush to put the glue on because then you're less likely to get, like if you use a Q-tip, you can get little strings of blobs of glue and stuff. So just a very thin layer. Make sure there's no big globs. Okay, and then once you got the glue on there, we're just going to pretend this is dry. I'm going to take my wooden shape and then set it on the paper. Okay. And then you're going to take I recommend taking a cloth and pressing rather than using your fingers, because even though your hands are clean, you might have some oils that might leave a smudge on your paper, or if you have paint on your fingers, you want your paper to be nice and clean. So use a cloth or a paper towel to press down. Just make sure that's on there real good. Okay. So now, as you can see, the paper is bigger than my image, right? So, and I'm not doing this very good here. I'm trying to hurry. crafting takes time and patience, and I'm just trying to make my video a little quick, so anyways, try this again. Press that down really good there. All right. So it's okay that this is not the same size. Don't worry about taking scissors and trimming that off. That's fine. You're going to take your nail file and you're going to go at an angle like this. Okay? You're going to go like this, and it's going to bevel the edges, and it's going to take the paper off the edges as well. And essentially you're trying to put the paper into the wood so that it looks flush. So I'm going to go over here and do that. See how this is just coming right off when you do that. Okay? That's why you don't need to trim. And depending on how big of a border you want, that's how much you're going to want to do this. If you just want a little bit of a border, you're not going to want to sand as much. And I'll show you what I mean by the border. Because I'm going at an angle, I'm removing some of that paper on the edges and to make the wood show. Do you see how there's like a nice little border all the way around now? Okay. Now at this point you can, if you want to do some cleanup, you can use the finer side of your nail file to just kind of go over any rough edges on the side. Alright, then again you're going to want to remove any of the dust and paper using a cloth. Okay, there we go. Now you are ready to Mod Podge. So I have my Mod Podge in the little orange juice cap, and I like to use a sponge brush. Okay, so we're going to use not a brushing motion, but a stipple motion. Stipple means you're just kind of, it's like you're a little tiny pogo stick. Boing, 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 boing. Okay, you're going to do that. But do it real fast. Okay, and you're going to kind of get scared. You're going to be like, oh no, I think I just ruined my earring because my earring looks all white and blobby like Elmer's glue. But don't worry, that will dry. You don't want big clumps, but get it nice and wet so that everything is covered. And then I'm going to go with the dry side of my sponge and just tap. Tap up and down, straight up and down. No rubbing. If you get a little clump, you can remove that too. But just tapping it in like this, that just removes all that extra. So there's no big globs. Okay. So there you go. You don't see any big globs now. Now you're going to let that dry, and then once that is dry, you're going to want to do this side. You're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay? Let that dry. Then you're going to go, you'll be able to hold on to it like this, and you can do your sides. Do the sides. Okay? Try not to touch the top of that when that's drying, or you'll have some prints in there. You can also use diamond glaze, and to do that you just take the bottle, put a little bit on there, and you can use a brush And that's what I did with this one. I don't know if you can tell, but it's got a sheen to it. But it also has, it looks like stripes because I used my brush, so you can see the brush strokes in there, but it's very shiny. See, this one's shiny. And this is Mod Podge. It's I don't know if you can tell. They're both very similar. It doesn't really matter which one you use. It's just whatever you have in your preference, okay? Both look beautiful. So once you have the Mod Podge over your painted wooden piece, your wooden piece has the paper, it's painted, it has the Mod Podge. It's all set to go. It's going to look something like this. It's got paper. The edges are painted. It's got Mod Podge on both sides. Now you have an earring. Ta-da! So now you're going to want to put a hole in your wood piece. And I have a jewelry punch that I got from Hobby Lobby. It has purple handles. Can you see that? Okay, there's all different kinds of jewelry punches. You can use this. And you're going to take your piece and you're going to very carefully center it. You can also use a drill, but I recommend drilling your holes before you do all that work because it is possible that you can split your wood. You have to use a very, very tiny drill bit. I'm just using this punch. I'm going to do it very gently, okay, and see how it's stuck on there. I'm going to, don't push from up here because you could break your wood piece. Down here I'm just going to wiggle it off, okay. There's a hole in here. You're going to want to push out the wood that got punched out, so then the next time it'll be able to go back through. So there's your hole. Now it is possible that the back, a little piece of wood might split off or whatever. You can just do a touch up. This one turned out great. I don't have to worry about that. And now you can add your findings. So I am using a jump ring, a bigger one. Okay, and when you open them, I use my fingers because I've been doing this a while, but I do recommend using some jewelry pliers. You're going to want to not pull it apart, but I'm going to take my right hand and move forward as I hold it steady with my left hand. And then it looks like this. Okay. And then I'm going to put that right on there. Oh, wow. It went flying. Alright, so once I get that on there, I'm going to use a smaller jump ring. Using 2 jump rings will prevent your earring from flipping around. So now I'm using a smaller jump ring. And I place it on there. I'm going to use my pliers to close it up. This time I'm going to do opposite. I'm just holding this hand steady, and I'm going to take this side and I'm going to bend towards me. Bend towards me and kind of push in. Alright, okay. Alright. Sometimes you get a jump ring that's just a little off. You just gotta, I'm not sure what's going on here. Gotta squeeze it shut sometimes. Okay, so now you can also use these right here. I don't know if you can see that. And you don't need to use a jump ring. You can just attach it like this. You're going to take your ear wire and do the same thing with the jump ring. You're going to not pull it out, but twist it forward. I don't know if that makes sense, but open that little ring right there. Okay. There you go. You got your earring. You can also add jump rings down to the bottom and add a little bead, or up here add a bead. Whatever you like. That part will be up to you, because I know you are a creative person and you will come up with beautiful things. I hope my video was helpful in getting you started and making the wooden earrings. I have some exciting news today. I'm going to be opening my website here soon. It's going to be Cat and Designs, K-A-T-A-N-N Designs.com, so www.catanddesigns.com. I'm going to be selling my wooden earrings, my faux leather earrings, my faux leather bows, and I have beaded jewelry as well. So I'm hoping to get that going here in the next couple of weeks. It should be up there. If you liked my video today, please hit the like button and feel free to comment. Ask me any kind of questions, or maybe add on to what you know. Share the information. There's so many people out there that want to know how to make these, and I've looked online and there's not a whole lot of videos, so please share any techniques that you have. And subscribe to my channel so that I can make some other channels or some other videos for you, and you can check out my other videos. Thank you for watching. See you soon.